What is up, Maniacs? Welcome to Sound and Pound. We are your hosts, Alex Behunin and Drake Riggs, here to bring you the latest greatest in the world of mixed martial arts. We are back after our first week off, unintentional. We apologize. Last week was just kind of a crazy one. We were on separate ends of the world, Alex, of the country. Excuse me. I went back home. You were in Florida. We were at peak distances separated for all sorts of different things going on between us both. But we are here again, back ready for UFC 304 fight week, Super RIZIN 3 fight week. There was a lot going on after a little bit of a lull for the 2 weeks that were between then and now, as we get ramping up here at the end of July, summer in full force on the MMA calendar. But my man, how you doing? We've been chatting it up, keeping in contact as always. But let the people know how your trip to the nice, humid Tampa Bay was.
Yeah, we were on separate parts of the country, but now we're here together.
Together, yes.
Together again. Yeah, Florida in the summer is not fun for sure. I do not like humidity at all. I'll take the fucking dry desert heat any day of the week. But Florida, Tampa was okay. It was my first time being in Tampa. I've only been to Miami, so it was cool. It's kind of boring, kind of like whatever, but it is what it is. And then the fights were cool. Traveling back to Las Vegas was a nightmare. So if anybody's flying in the next couple days,
wait till the technical difficulties are sorted. We recommend.
Don't do that.
Yeah, affected both of us.
Yeah, especially if it's Delta, do not do that.
There you go. So I'm assuming you didn't end up making it to the beach. You bailed on the idea.
Yeah, it was like $35 to Uber there. And I was like $70 there and back. It's not worth it, bro. I don't know. I'm cool.
Yeah, especially going by yourself. I would have.
Yeah, exactly. There was no one to enjoy the beach with, and I don't want to be that weirdo just walking the beach by himself. Like the fuck.
Kicking in the sand, metal detector maybe.
yeah, throwing rocks throwing rocks,
skipping. Exactly. But we are here to talk about UFC 304, you guys, and like I said, Super RIZIN 3 fight week as well. We'll throw in some nuggets from that. But before we do get into it, of course, we're going to stick with our segments for the most part. And let's just get back to what happened this past week real quick. Short little maniacal moment of the week segment here for us. My goodness. There are some things that stand out, but for me, of course, I'm going to go with the easy one in the MMA world, which is Virna Jandiroba getting the job done. 4-fight winning streak, strawweight, new top contender, Alex. I mean, everyone's arguing, debating between her and Suarez, which is the thing. One goes missing every now and then. The other continues to keep on keeping on. Virna Jandiroba, I mean, just another incredible performance. This was a very fun, grappling heavy scramble affair, which is kind of the best case scenario we could have hoped for out of this fight. You know, everyone was shitting on it as they always do, but I think it delivered in kind of the sense that it was pretty fun in the best way possible on the ground. And then we got a finish out of it from Virna, who was just unknown. I mean, the submission queen, one of the best grapplers on the planet. Keeps on keeping on. And it just makes me really happy for her, because if you watched her from the beginning and knew about her, you knew eventually she was going to work her way up to this point, kind of like the strawweight version of Damian Maya. I mean, I always got to highlight this to people, but she has jiu-jitsu match wins over Amanda Nunes and Claudia Gadelha. So, I mean, that just gives you an example of how pure her talent and technique is. And we saw it in this performance with that armbar. Just beautiful stuff. Lemos tried to hang on for as long as she could. I thought she tapped in the initial sequence there, but doesn't matter. Virna kept cranking, got it anyways. 4-fight winning streak. Yeah, I mean, in this case now, I think you give her the title shot if, I mean, what we were talking about this kind of off air recently, Alex, I think it was, but yeah, no, it was like last week, I think, when we were talking on the phone, but just book Suarez and, hope for the best. And if it doesn't happen, then all right, you got her ready to go. Virna will take that probably on short notice, I would assume, but she deserves it next, no matter what her next fight should be for the title, whether she has to wait behind Suarez or whatnot. Either way, I love watching her jiu-jitsu. She is so fun on the ground, and great performance from her. So easy maniacal moment for me, but for you, my man, any thoughts on that one or any others you want to highlight?
Yeah, no, it was nice. We didn't predict it on camera, but we talked behind the scenes, and we both picked Virna to win that, and it was nice to see it. It was nice to see that. For a shit ass card, it actually turned out to be, or the main card was okay. It was fun. Other than that, it was Apex. But yeah, do want to shout out Verna. Want to shout out my boy Hyder and Mill. Just
Mhm.
landing a 87,000 combo on the
Tekken
and
combo breaker.
yeah, bro, fantastic. But yeah, I'm gonna just stick with Jake Paul, Mike Perry because I was there, boots on the ground, and yeah, it was a very fun build up. I think Mike Perry handled it like a champ before and afterwards, but in the end, it was just Jake's a big boy, and he had 30 pounds on Mike Perry, and I think anybody that like wasn't blinded by the Jake Paul hate kind of figured Mike Perry was going to get jabbed up, kind of beat up. He's going to walk forward with his hands down, saying "hit me, hit me," you know, what I'm saying just like
Right.
his own Mike Perry thing. And traditional boxing, you cannot do that. You can do that in bare knuckle boxing because he's a freak.
That's what it's made for.
Yeah, exactly. But in boxing, you're going to get your head beat in, and that's exactly what happened. So, and then he got fired by Conor McGregor afterwards, like literally 4 minutes afterwards. So, just took two L's. Took two L's.
Back to back.
Yeah, brutal. So, yeah, I've been basically over Jake Paul fighting MMA fighters since he knocked out Tyron Woodley. I was kind of interested to see Anderson Silva, but still, Anderson Silva's old. Like, give it.
That was the
like,
last one for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we're
Just
over this.
yeah, just come on, bro. Like, just give it up already. Like, it is what it is. I will say, watching this fight kind of gave me like a 2% more hope in Mike Tyson. But
Really, more hope.
yeah, just because
Okay.
like Mike Perry was hitting Jake, and Jake is hittable. And obviously, Mike Tyson is 7,000 billion trillion that times the boxer that Mike Perry is, right? So the boxing for boxing, Mike Tyson is obviously way better. But like, it all comes down to the age. He's like 60 years old against a 27-year-old, just thug of a dude, bro. Just so anyway, yeah, it was. I mean, bro, Tampa, they had that arena. I think
It sounded like it was popping in there from what I heard.
21,000 people. It was a capacity of 21,000. I don't know if 21,000 people showed up, but they said it was sold out, and it was loud in that arena. So it was nice, and it was very pro Mike Perry, obviously, because it was Florida. So yeah, but so yeah, so in finality, I'm over Jake Paul boxing MMA fighters, but I'm sure he'll box some
That's not ending.
Darren.
Not gonna
Probably
end.
like fight Darren Till next or some shit.
Something stupid, yeah.
So
But all right, so the people for their maniacal moment choices, they're on board with talking about this fight. Unfortunately for me, but Jersey kind of springboarding off that. Alex says, I don't know if this counts for a maniacal moment, but to add what to James said, how about Conor firing Mike Perry for losing to Jake Paul? Is that a crazy moment? Yeah. Well, I mean, do we think that's real, Alex? Like, I mean,
well,
I would think he can do that, but it seems weird.
It's tough. Like basically, someone asked him about that in the post-fight press conference, and he basically said, "Yeah, you can't fire me because I have stake in the company." But like, I don't know who said that. I was watching something, and like, I'm sure if Conor McGregor went up to David Feldman and was like, "All right, you're gonna fire Mike Perry, or I'm gonna fucking bail on our deal," I'm sure David Feldman would probably fire Mike Perry. But then again, Connor's smart enough to be like, "Yeah, people only watch bare knuckle because of Mike Perry, right?" So I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah. But I mean, having that Conor attachment's yeah, for sure. But what do we got here? James said, yeah, how about the state of celeb boxing and boxing in general and people complaining about it? Yeah, it's not gonna go away, I don't think, too soon, especially at this rate when the Mike Tyson one is still planned to happen, James. But we'll see. Go says maniacal moment is Buckley digging himself into a bigger hole just by talking. He doesn't stop, does he? He doesn't. So Ghost is referring to the Wonder Boy call out fraudulent story, maybe, according to Wonder Boy himself, who responded pretty much right away to that.
It seems like Buckley has negative 2,500 self awareness.
It's not a lot, that's for sure. Not much going on there. I mean, yeah, I saw somebody comment on that. It was like, if you're talking shit about Wonder Boy, you're the one with a problem. It's
I
kind
mean,
of
you've got to
what has
like, yeah,
historically been the
you've got to
case.
be like urging for like attention if you're gonna talk shit about Wonder Boy. Like that's as low as you go. Like like he's got.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got to keep people talking some way.
You think they should make that one though? What do you think of the matchup?
I mean, it makes
I'm
sense.
fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Wonder Boy's coming off a loss. Buckley's doing good. Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. Let's see, Stevens 9, Buckley. Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So we shall see what happens there. Da, da, da. All right, maniacal moment for Gunther. Good to see you, Gunther. Says, living in the United Kingdom has to be UFC 304 start time. Clearly, they don't care about UK fans. Yeah, yep. That's been a consistent point of contention.
America,
Um,
baby.
yeah, US all the way. And this at this point. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know what more to add to that at this point. It's just what a slog that's going to be like for them. I'm curious. I'm excited to see what the energy levels are like in there by the time the co-main event rolls around.
Yeah,
My
everyone's gonna
goodness.
be drunk as shit, so it's gonna be super. It's either gonna be super rowdy or everyone's gonna be basically blacked out, drunk.
Yeah, they're gonna do cutoffs at 2, and then a riot's gonna start. Right, like
Yeah.
Jesus. All right, but before we get to UFC 304, you guys, let's show some love real quick. Underrated moment of the week, Alex. I did have one here, which I think underrated because of the placement, but I think a lot of people knew about this after it happened. But Korean Superboy, Ho Choi, man, he gets his first win since 2016. That is incredible to say. It's almost been 10 years since he fucking last had a win. And we know there's, a chunk of time that was taken away from him there. But like, goddamn, when he was on his stretch, he was such a hot prospect. People thought he was going to be like the new Korean Zombie, top 5 kind of level. And that just did not happen. And honestly, probably won't happen at this point. But put on a good showing against Bill Algeo. I did not see if this was a face breaker finish here. Alex, do you know if there was like an orbital break from Algeo? Because the way he went down and, pretty much was like, all right, I'm done. That kind of fucking sucked. It looked like the case of when someone breaks something on their face.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think it was just a perfectly placed punch, like to check the eye socket, and he was just like, "All right, I'm done."
Yeah. So just great stuff there from Superboy and a good guy. You're glad for him in that one, but I'll give him some love in the underrated moments. You got anybody to shout out we have missed so far?
Yeah, no, that was awesome. It's crazy. It's been 10 years since
Wild.
almost 10 years. It's just insane. But it was great to see him get a win and how he was so emotional, kind of like choking me up a little bit,
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna stick with boxing. Did you see the H2O Sylvie knockout?
Yes, I did. That
Dude,
was you want to talk about combos. Shut him off before it was even done.
dude. I mean, when that happened, half the arena was cheering, half the arena was like,
Oh my god, he just died.
and like, dude, he was down for like 2.5 minutes, and like for 30 seconds he was seizing. So like, it was a nasty
Scary one.
knockout. It was really really bad. Yeah, it was just. I mean, it was just brutal. One of the best one of the best boxing knockouts of the last 10 years for sure, 1,000%. It, and I don't know if another knockout's gonna beat that this year. Like
Yeah.
brutal.
I mean, one of those face plants. That's oh my god.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's like, I, just like in all combat sports, it's like Max's knockout Gaethje and then Lucas Body's fucking knockout H2. So like those two are like two face plant knockouts.
yeah.
One just insanely insane moment, and then one just like a perfect perfect knockout. Like it was a comeback. Plus, the dude was getting his ass kicked for I think it was like 7 rounds.
I was
Comes
gonna
back
ask
and
how he was doing before that. That's wild.
dude, he lost every single round, and then just
Damn.
yeah.
I wonder what the odds on him were for that too. It was probably big.
It was big. Yeah, no, it was. I think HTO was like a minus. He was a big favorite. I just be kind of pointing out on my ass at this point, but he was a big favorite.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, there was a lot of hype on Silv. I saw one of the last times he fought on one of the Paul cards. Maybe it was last year. But yeah.
I mean, and at 20 years old, like that knockout
sticks with you. It takes some time, pal. You don't want to
1000%. You better take some time off. And that's one of those knockouts where it's like you question, like, is he ever going to be the same again? Like a fighter, you know, it was like that bad of a knockout. So
yeah. Rough time, but we wish him all the best, happy health, all that good stuff. Ray Neal says, can an underrated moment be a maniacal moment? Of course, we can combo deal there. What about Sean O'Malley claiming his USADA bust being caused by sweat trading from training partners? Yeah, I saw that yesterday. That's a thing that happened. That is a thing that happened. I wouldn't have gone there, Sean. That's pretty much that's all I think I could say about that, because it's like then you bring up to go into defensive mode about that kind of thing is never a great look. Like I don't necessarily have a strong feeling about it one way or the other, but it's just not a good look. Like and for him to say that, you know, or claim there was evidence or proof of that being a thing and then not show it, like you can't do that ever. So I just don't think it made him look very good. But then hey, he kind of just completely erased any speculation by roasting Conor McGregor really good right after. So everyone's talking about that instead. There you go.
yeah, I literally have no idea what you're talking about, so that's why I'm quiet.
All right, fair enough. Yeah. So he after this Quinones win, I'll just give you a brief summary. He tested positive, if you remember, for Oster and was suspended for 6 months from USADA. And he said that happened from his training partners who used it, and it was transferred through sweat. That was what he said. And Alex, you know that's not necessarily how these things work from your own experience.
As a avid steroid abuser in my young 20s, I can guarantee you that does not happen.
So yeah, fucking hilarious, actually. But there you go.
Yeah.
Oh man,
fucking sweat doesn't come through your blood, you know? Like
yes, that's anatomically not how that kind of works, bro.
You know, like come
fuck.
on.
Yeah.
I mean, at least say like, you know, my training partner bled on me, got into my blood, and you know, we just got
right. That'd be a little bit something else. Had a cut, but no, man, no.
Yeah. Wow,
Ghost makes a great point. I should community note him. Yeah.
Damn, that is fucking pretty hilarious. Wow, that's okay.
Yep, there you have it.
Noted. Yeah. Wow.
Yep. Rainey says, big fan of Sean. Steroids aside, he's still a great fighter, so it's sad for me to see that. Yeah. I hear you. Oh man. Cornelius commenting on the Silv knockout. Why did the ref not let the winner celebrate? So that was a weird scene, wasn't it? That was fucking bizarre. What was up with that?
It's a fucking weirdo. I don't know. The ref is retarded. I don't know. Like, bro, check on the fighter that's seizing on the ground. You know, like
yeah, maybe do that.
You know. I don't know. We've seen enough fights. Why don't you do that, bro? Like, you know, let him, you know, let him jump on the ropes and celebrate. You know, like he was getting his ass kicked and got the best knockout. You know, just
maybe just let it. Yeah. Ridiculous. That's just Florida. That's just Florida for you.
It is. It's Florida and dumbass refs, bro.
But all right. Anyway, let's go on over to Manchester now, you guys. Mania mainline time. Some UFC 304 talk. I mean, we'll be breaking down the whole thing, but we'll still keep the segment tradition alive. I mean, it is episode 40 after all, Alex. So before we get to the tippy top and the good stuff, of course, Mania mainline. I mean, goodness, should we maybe just go? Because I put a lot of UFC 304 on here. There are a lot of the fights that I am looking forward to. So I guess yeah, I don't know how we should necessarily do this, but I guess we'll stick with it.
I think we should just talk about the entire main card and then hit on like some prelims that you're excited about. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, that works. And first of all, let's address kind of the weirdness, the recent change up that we had to this card, which was no fights have fallen out. Don't worry. Everything's good. Fingers crossed we're good for now on that. But uh Cape versus Mokaev, very clear flyweight title eliminator, was bumped down to not just the prelims. The early prelims, it's the fourth fight of the night, Alex. What the hell happened here for CLD and Gregory Rodriguez? Which I'm excited for that one. Gonna be a fun one in middleweight for sure. But what the fuck is this, dude?
Um, I just, I think the promotion doesn't like one of them. I don't know.
I mean that would be the best explanation for that because it doesn't make any sense considering the flyweight main events we've started getting now. Like they've been doing a good job of keeping us in line with that. And I mean, Cape was supposed to be in a main event, and now they do this to him. Got some ill will that he's got to earn back. So I'm gonna point the blame on him a little bit more, maybe, but yeah, we don't need to finger point. So, all right, let's go through the main card. We'll go bottom to top, though, Alex, starting off with Arnold Allen, Giga Chikadze kicking off the main card. I love me some Arnold Allen. I enjoy Giga as well. Him coming back now, getting in the mix here again. How we feeling about this one? Overall thoughts on this matchup to open up the main card?
Yeah, I think it's a great main card opener. I think it's going to be fun, no matter what. And but I just kind of think it's going to be a one-sided win for Arnold Allen. I just think he's a better fighter than Giga.
A lot more tools, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's got him beat everywhere. And I don't know. I just feel like, obviously Giga had a lot of hype a couple years ago, and that all
Mm.
kind of went out the window when he got beat up by Calvin Cater. I just think Arnold Allen is the much better fighter, but I do think it's going to be a fun little scrap. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for the fight. I'm like really looking forward to it. I don't think there's like much to break down about it. Like I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that Arnold Allen is very clearly the superior overall, well-rounded fighter in this matchup specifically. Like he's really leaned into his striking in like the latter half of his past, portion of his UFC career and gotten very good and entertaining, violent with it, as we saw in that Dan Hooker win, of course, and then even his Holloway loss and just his past couple fights. He's leaned on that more, but he can go to the ground. Of course, all the TriStar guys can do everything very, very well. And with Giga, I think it's really easy to forget that he's got a decent bit of mileage on him coming from, the kickboxing world and 35 and then the injuries that he's had in MMA and then just the MMA career on top of it. Like it's adding up with him. And I think, unfortunately, sooner rather than later, he's going to start getting probably that chin cracked real bad. Don't know if it starts in this one, but Arnold's a fucking massive, powerful featherweight. I could certainly see it happening, especially if he tees off and gets him in a bad spot, pressures him, mixes it up as I expect him to. So, yeah, I would be honestly pretty shocked if Arnold loses this fight. I don't know what the odds are in this one, but I'd expect him to be a solid favorite. He just beat better competition. He's better everywhere is essentially the big part of this one.
Yeah, and there's an argument. I've seen a lot of people say that the Evliov fight, the Mozart fight, was very close. Could have went his way if
It was competitive, yeah.
Yeah, 1,000%. So, and we know how good Mozart is. So,
yeah. Hey, Cole is here. What is up, man? Hope you are well as well. Thanks for tuning in, my guy. Good to see you. Yeah. So let's move on then to that one I mentioned, CLD, Christian Leroy Duncan, taking on RoboCop, Gregory Rodriguez. I expect violence, Alex. I mean, I expect violence. Get it out of RoboCop pretty much all the time. So
yeah, I think it's violent. I think it's a one round of violence and someone's going down. Um, it's I see a lot of people on CLD for this fight, and it's hard not to go with that. He's young. He's younger. He's got power. We've seen Gregory get knocked out, but if Gregory comes into the fight smart and uses all of his tools, like his
exactly
elite grappling, he should win this fight if he uses that. But
not so confident.
I think they're in front of a fucking crowd. They're gonna be fighting at fucking 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. Maybe he's going to be clouded by judgment, and he might get chinned.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I feel kind of similar to that too. Because realistically, like on the feet, I think CLD should be able to dictate this matchup pretty comfortably, and just as long as he avoids the big shots, and of course he can land some of his own counter a bit there. But yeah, it'll be critical for RoboCop's success to kind of mix in that grappling. But even if he doesn't, like, we've seen crazier shit happen with this guy that he could pull something out of his ass, because he has done that before. As Go says, he wants to see RoboCop take him down so we can see Leroy's tricky bottom game. All right, so he's looking more forward to seeing CLD off the bottom. So there we go. Yeah, so in the end, I think I'm gonna lean CLD on that one too, but very fascinating matchup for sure. And then we get to all right, another fascinating one, Alex. The moment of truth at lightweight.
This is the fight. This is the fight I think I'm looking forward to the most on the entire card. Just there's just so many
King
questions.
Green versus Patty.
Yeah, there's just so many questions. And I don't know who I'm leaning towards King Green. Like I am. Just I feel like his boxing should be able to win this fight, and he has very underrated takedown defense. And I think Patty's going to be game to just to bang with him. But I mean, Patty's the younger guy, right? And at some point, Bobby's going to have to show his age, right? So, you know, is this fight it? Is the next fight it? I don't know, and that's why we're gonna watch this fight in like 5 days. So it's fantastic. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this fight, and I'm actually kind of like looking. I'm like actually searching on YouTube to see people's like technical breakdown of this fight, because I'm really interested in like seeing how people think about it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And it's very interesting too when you look at specifics, like you said, Bobby Green's takedown defense, which is actually, pretty solid against most of the guys you'd expect him to maybe handle. Like, of course, we've seen those times where he struggled against, obviously, Islam Makhachev did his thing against him. No surprise there. Thiago Moises, of course, found some success. Trinaldo back in the day. Like, typically, though, he's pretty good at keeping people off of him who are not very clearly superior guys who do that to a lot of people. Like Patty, of course, has had some issues getting people to the ground, but when he does, of course, he's very tricky and has some good moves in there. So I think it's just a matter of if he can keep Patty off of him, he's going to be pretty fine. I think Patty secretly has a little bit more power than we give him credit for, but again, Bobby is clearly the superior boxer in that regard. The thing with Bobby is King, excuse me, got to get used to that.
King, bro,
King, bro. He likes to have fun in there, be a showman, which has cost him before. I think infamously against Dustin Poirier is the one I always remember. He got cracked right after, spouting off as he does. See if the moment gets to him there, as he's the big enemy in enemy territory. But overall, like, I think all signs point to him definitely being able to win this fight. It's just a matter of, if Patty can find his one window of opportunity, which is certainly possible, and kind of utilizes his size and wears on Bobby as this fight goes on. So I'm gonna take the safe pick and go with King Green here. By man, it's weird to kind of predict it, but I think it'll probably be a decision. If I had to be safe there, so I think he'll get a decision win. But what do you think in terms of specific outcome?
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I don't think he's going to finish Patty. I think if there is a finish in this fight, Patty's going to finish Bobby Green.
Yeah, I could see that too. Catch him with something, because he does some very, very sneaky stuff with his grappling. So looking forward to that. Go says Bobby Green has a good body jab which diffuses pressure, and that same weapon gave Fiziev a bad time despite losing. Yeah, that is very true. And that was a very interesting fight too, if you remember that one. Synchro is here. What is up? How you doing? I'm quietly optimistic for UFC 304. Is that good? I just want to see some good fights. Yeah, of course. It is a solid card. There's a lot to like on it, Synchro. So yeah, get hyped. As before we move on to the co-main jersey, says we have to see people in this chat complain about bad cards. This one looks decent on paper, and even the next card looks good. Does that mean we all have another stretch of bad cards? Eventually, yeah, it'll be coming up. Don't you worry. But yeah, the next two are looking pretty darn good. It's a nice little stretch that we have here for the moment. But all right, I think there might have been a co-main event question here. I'm going to hang on to. Yes, here it is. But let's get to the co-main event, Alex. The real heavyweight title is on the line as Tom Aspinall defends against Curtis Blades, the rematch of their July 2020 UFC London main event that ended in 15 seconds off of Tom tearing his ACL. Boy, oh boy. I am looking forward to this because we didn't really get a fight the first time. That's kind of the big thing. We didn't get to see these guys fight. And as we all know, Curtis Blades' biggest, the bane of his existence throughout his career has been the big moment. And finally gets a title opportunity in enemy territory again. Will he be able to overcome that after all of these pitfalls that he's had against this guy who is phenomenal, is one of the toughest guys to overcome, who has not really had I can't think of a big struggle he's had in his UFC career so far. Tom Aspinall, I think he sold me a ticket a while ago on him being a reigning champ to defend at least a couple times. Heavyweight's always crazy, of course, but Curtis's best case to win this fight, of course, is to do what he does best, which is wrestle him, beat him down, use them razor elbows that we've seen on Overeem and Mark Hunt and the like, just pulverize him on the mat. But Tom Aspinall, pretty darn good defensively and offensively with his submission game. And then on the feet, just one of the fastest and most mobile heavyweights that we have seen in a long, long time. He's going to have the edge there, and he can knock you out really quick. He's a total package on the feet, really, in that regard. And Curtis Blades, we've seen, of course, put out before, get touched up when he's coming in, all sorts of moments like that. I can't not go with Tom in this one. I don't know. I don't think there's a guy I'm going to bet against him at this point just because of how overall dangerous he has been in the UFC. But we are going to learn a lot, I think, depending how this first round goes, if it gets out of the first round. And because I would expect, Curtis to try and take him down and see how his success goes with that in the first round. But I think Tom Aspinall is just going to do Tom Aspinall things and probably find the knockout about the midway point of the first round, just because this guy's pretty fucking good. Thoughts?
Yeah, I am a Curtis Blades guy, my fellow stutter brethren.
Stutter brother.
Stutter brother, bro. And I picked Curtis Blades in the original matchup because I feel like Curtis Blades is Tom Aspinall's worst matchup in this division. But the problem is Tom Aspinall is the best heavyweight on planet Earth, not named John Jones, So
I had to do that. You had me for a minute. You really did.
And yeah, I mean, Curtis's thing is he gets knocked out, man, and Tom hits really hard, and it's just gonna be very interesting if Curtis uses his reach, his length, his I feel like he's the better athlete compared to those two, right? Like I just feel like he's a big dude, man, and it's really going to be interesting on his wrestling, and if he really gets his wrestling going, I think it's really going to dictate this fight, because if he gets his wrestling going, even though Tom Aspinall has a elite ground game, very, very good, and we rarely see it. I don't think he tapped out Arlovsky and let's see. Did he tap out anybody? Oh, straight armbar with Volkov, but we've never really seen him.
Wild,
which is aged fantastic.
I mean, both of those guys never get submitted, and he did it. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, and he tapped Volkov in the first round. So but we've never seen Tom off his back in the UFC, and I think if Curtis can plant him there, it's going to be a very interesting fight. Problem is can Curtis get there without getting slept. And
Yeah.
that's my biggest thing. And I hope we actually get to see it, because I really hope we get to see Tom deal with adversity. But no, it's heavyweight. It's heavyweight MMA, bro. We never know what's gonna happen. One punch ends it all. One punch changes the entire fight. So while I hope we get to see at least like a 3 round fight, like I really,
Yeah.
something like that. I just I can't bet against Tom Aspinall right now, and he's knocking everybody. He's just finishing everybody, and Curtis Blades does get finished. So I'm not gonna say he'll knock Curtis down the first round. Maybe second round KO.
All right. All right. There we have it. Yeah, I'm very out of all the fights on this card, this is probably the one um that I am most excited for, just because I've really started to like. I mean, I've always liked watching Curtis Blades as well, but Tom Aspinall's been super fun. You just never really know how he's gonna get the job done, and then of course the little story with this one, it is intriguing. And now this is gonna be the fun part, Alex, is just seeing your reaction to these comments we have, because Gunther says, I feel like the ones that are knowledgeable people in the sport view Aspinall as the real heavyweight champion because he's fighting real contenders. Do you agree that it's silly he's defending an interim? Absolutely, Gunther. It's fucking super goofy, especially when they're planning the undisputed fight right now for somebody else. It's really dumb. And we go over this all the time. But Alex over here,
Whatever.
whatever, dude. You can watch the other one anyways.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one.
Gunther continues, and he says, "Can they just make the undisputed title? Can make this the undisputed belt? John Jones looking for a legacy fight against a fireman who hasn't fought in 4 years. Maybe I just want to see Leon and Tom be undisputed." Well, the Leon part is
It's a
fine
fair
there.
point. It's a fair point, and like if they were to do that, I would have no problem with it. I
Right.
just feel like like just let John have this shit already, and like just he's done.
Get it out of the way.
Like that's my thought on this. Like he's done enough in this sport. He's been a fucking shit human being for most of it, but like just let him have this thing. It's happening in August, September, October, 4 months. For 4 months, John's gonna fight Stipe, and then he's gonna retire, and then no one's gonna have to bitch about him anymore. Okay, so just wait 4 months.
Oh, they'll bitch for that first week, though. Don't you worry. We will all be
No,
very
but like I'm not blinded. I'm not blinded by my John Jones stanness that I can see it. I can see all the problems with what's going on.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. Rio is here. Says, I saw Ghost about on Tom Aspinall. He mentioned that Tom likes to enter and exit with his chin up in the air. He should be okay against Curtis, since Curtis has pillow hands and only wrestles, right? I don't know if I'd necessarily say Curtis has pillow hands. He just,
I don't know if he has pillow hands, bro.
yeah, he just doesn't usually, try to show off his hands that way, unless it's against like what Pavlovich. He kind of tried a little bit more than he should have against Derek Lewis. He did, until when he didn't, he got caught. So it's like that fight hurts my soul, Alex, because that was like the first or second. I think it was the first shot he went for, because he was killing Derek on the feet. He was lighting him up, and then decides to go to what old reliable and gets put out. That was so sad.
That was the fight that like made me realize that I can't be confident in any pick ever again, because I would have literally bet my entire house in life savings.
Dude, it was just an awful matchup for Derek. Yeah,
that
as we
Chris
saw.
Blades was gonna win. I literally thought, literally, bro, I would have been homeless on the fucking streets of California if I had the choice.
Oh my god, no kidding. That was, yeah. I just couldn't even believe they made that matchup at the time. Then it ends that way. I was like, oh, that kills every part of me. But yeah, I mean, again, it's heavyweight. I think Curtis could definitely catch him in that regard. But again, Tom moves very, very quickly. He's very mobile, so he can get away with that stuff. But again, people catch up to you. Jen says, "Is it better to see champions get tested in a hard fight to improve your opinions of them, or should they just KO everyone and dominate people in a few rounds?" Like, there's a lot of different lines of thinking to that, right, Alex? Like, some people value a lot seeing somebody get tested and go through the adversity, which I agree. If you can get through a hard fight and win it still, no matter what, incredibly impressive. We've seen it with plenty of champions over the years, but somebody who never has to get to that point, never has to do that because they are just such a machine killer for whatever reason, equally as impressive. You can say which you think is more impressive. I understand the arguments for both of them, but like they're very different ways to dissect it. Personally, I think because of how rare it is to see those levels of dominance, like with the latter one here, the second part that Jin is asking, that for me is more impressive because if you can avoid getting tested because you're that fucking good, then I think that goes over for me a little bit. What do you think?
It's tough. Like, I do like a dominant champion, but I do like, bring it back to John Jones. He was steamrolling everybody until he ran into Alexander Gustafsson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think that's what really showed people like, oh fuck, this guy is.
If you have, like a couple sprinkled in there, then it's like, all right.
1000%. Or Anderson Silva, right? He got
Yeah.
tested by Chell. Or there's the thing where like Ronda Rousey just killing everybody until she faces her first loss, and then it all kind of crumbled down. So like, I think I'd much. I just think this fighters in the sport itself. I like seeing fighters tested and going through adversity because I think it really shows who they are and how they handle it. Right. I think that's what I'm more fascinated in personally.
Yeah, I mean, from an overall story point, that's I think the most intriguing for sure too.
But if you're just a dude that knocks people out in the first round, that's how you'll break through.
Yeah,
break through into like the casual audience, right?
Yep. I mean, Connor's a great example of that. The biggest, the best example. So there you go.
Sean O'Malley,
Sean O'Malley. Yeah, there's we've seen it plenty of times, time and time again. But all right, let's get to the main event now, Alex. The other rematch, Leon Rocky Edwards defending against Belal Muhammad. Belal finally gets his title shot as well. Oh man, I'm very intrigued by this fight. I'm looking forward to it. I know it's not going to be I know it's not going to be the most exciting fight of all time. It really has a very low chance of being that. But from a technical level, I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. And
if the late start time and a lot of alcohol in the arena doesn't put people to sleep,
oh God,
I'm sure this one will.
Right. But yeah, I mean, in the first fight, of course, this was 3 years ago, March 2021. Leon Edwards was pretty comfortably beating him in that first round. Eye poke happens early in the second. Looked like we had an idea of which direction that was going, but again, it was just one round. A lot of people basing their thoughts off of that one. Belal has looked he's gotten significantly better in the stretch since then. When we did our end of the year, beginning of the year sound and pounds, Alex, we made our predictions for who would be the champs at the end of the year. And we agreed Shavkat would end up winning the welterweight title. He's running out of time. That's not looking very good. But our paths to get there were different. And that was because you had Leon beating Belal at that time, and I had Belal winning and then losing to Shavkat. And that's how I got there. I'm sticking with that. I think that Belal Muhammad is going to get the job done against Leon Edwards, who has one of the lowest striking outputs in the sport, in the UFC anyways, from the stats that we have. Amongst champions, his volume, he throws about, 7 strikes a minute, I believe. Like, he's got a very, very low output, has managed to get away with that, which sounds very crazy to say, but against a guy like Belal, who has continually improved, particularly in his pressure game and his unlimited cardio, which are things he's always kind of had. But having had the experience of the first fight with Leon, get that out of the system and watch Leon not really change too much since then. Honestly, if we're going to say who improved more since the first fight, I would go with Belal. He's been working with Habib and Islam and all these guys, and it's been showing the improvements in his fight. I just think the pressure and style of game plan he's going to enter this one is going to be a lot more, I'll just say Dagestani. I'll just say it that way. A little bit more try to out wrestle and wear on Leon, along with just beat him up against the cage and apply the pressure and dominate and dictate the pace of this fight more than anything, which against a guy in Leon who is just not a volume striker. that's going to end up wearing on him over the course of this fight, and he's going to tire sooner rather than later. And how I'm saying this makes it sound like Bilal's going to dominate him the whole time. I think Leon's, of course, going to have his success in moments here and there, but for the most part, I think Bilal's going to control this one and ride it to a decision, honestly. So that's kind of how I see it looking.
Yeah, it's interesting. And if that happens, I would be like, yeah, makes sense. Like that was kind of like a perfect breakdown. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like Leon's fought every. I just feel like he's fought better wrestlers than Bilal, and he's got through them. Um, and I just feel like I don't know. I think this is going to be kind of like a very low output, kind of at range kind of fight, and I think Leon just kind of outpoints him. Although the thing that like makes you question that is Bilal does have the cardio. He's not afraid to come towards you and push you against the cage and kind of grind you out. And if he does that, if he can do that, he has a very good chance of winning this fight.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that Leon Edwards' game planning and his fight IQ and his will to win is just gonna come through, and he'll get it done. He'll get it done by throwing his jabs, his head kicks, his just his Leon striking.
Yeah, yeah, and I should have phrased this better too, but like Leon Edwards has some of the most underrated takedown defense in the fucking world right now. Like, just go back and look at literally his last two fights. Like, incredible how great his takedown defense has improved since that second Kamaru Usman fight. I didn't mean to make that sound like he's going to get taken down and dominated that way, but I think against the cage is how Bilal's not going to take him down easily, but I think he'll wear on him against the
Yeah.
cage because Leon's takedown defense is
Yeah,
wild.
I literally don't think Bilal's going to take Leon Edwards down. I think if anything, he's just going to grapple him against the cage.
Right.
And yeah, Rio actually gives his name. Leo's clinch striking is very, very good. It's very good, very underrated. Yeah, but like realistically, I don't know. Like, I don't put a whole lot of stock in that first fight because yes, it was 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was a first round in a smaller cage.
Apex.
Yeah, Apex. I think Bilal's first main event. So like, yeah, I don't know. I'm going. I think I'm just riding Leon's wave right now, and
Mm-hmm.
just he kind of looks unbeatable to the point where like obviously Usman had him beat until he didn't. But like, yeah, he's just looked very good, and I don't think Bilal is going to be the one to do it. So Leon Edwards unanimous decision.
All right. Yeah, I mean it's a super compelling one, especially just for everything we laid out right there, and I'm most fascinated to see how Leon handles the kind of pressure and just get unlimited gas tank that we're going to see from Bilal as the fight goes on. So gonna be good. But yeah, Rio asks if we can. This was a while ago. I wanted to hang on to this one, but do you consider Leon Edwards cool? I see that the analyst nerd community that Ghost is a part of love him, but the casuals hate him. Where would centrists like you guys stand on Leon? Like, I've grown on him. He's a chill dude. No no personal issues like with him as a person, but as a fighter, I do enjoy watching him. Like, technically, he is a treat to watch. Again, not going to be in any fight of the years or anything because again, his output is very low. He doesn't waste a lot. That's the thing, right? He's a very conservative with his energy. But I enjoy watching his fights for sure. So I got no problems really with Leon, but you just kind of know what you get with him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Is he cool? I don't know. Like, I mean, he's very.
Don't know the guy.
I don't, and like, I'm not gonna go out. I mean, watching any of his content or any of his interviews. Like, it's just not. Yeah, I'm not gonna go seek out anything from him, but I'll watch him fight. So like, and people who hate on him are just fucking weirdos. Just,
Yeah, there you go.
it's just what it is.
For sure. Yeah, Cole says holding the belt for Shopgood anyway. I mean, yeah, we all see that one coming.
Absolutely.
Assuming it can happen. James says, I would assume as a larger cage benefits Leon Edwards because his movement looked phenomenal against both Colby and Usman. That is a good point too. Yeah, I think I think more space definitely helps his style.
Yeah, and I think those wins over Colby and Usman, man, like obviously they're not prime Usman and not prime Colby. They're
Mhm.
but I still think beating Usman twice, and it's got to be it's got to like have something, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
For sure.
But then again,
Um,
Bilal is a completely different fighter than both of those, so
yeah,
you know.
yeah, absolutely. So some good tests early into his title reign here.
Yeah,
As Ghost says, I like Leon a lot, maybe in the minority because I love how he talks about techers and strats. Yeah, no, he's a very, very smart guy. And I mean, people haven't really started to see that until he became champion, but he definitely shows it off with his smart game planning. So all right. Well, before we move on from the Mania mainline, of course, you guys, we got 500 viewers here overall across all platforms. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss when we're live on YouTube, all that good stuff. You can subscribe on the newsletter on mmania.com, of course. The roundup, there it is at the bottom. Keep up to date on everything. But all right, let's touch on the prelims real quick here, Alex. We mentioned Cape versus Mokaev. Of course, that's the most important one in terms of outcomes of what that could lead to on the prelims here. But what are
yeah.
some other ones you want
Now that I look at the prelims, they're kind of underwhelming, to be honest with
to?
you. Like
Yeah,
they're not. Yeah. It's the first time I've actually like looked at them. Yeah, they're not the best.
of
I will mention our guy Oban Elliott, friend of the
course.
program.
Hmm.
Um, I do like the Nathaniel Wood versus Daniel Pineda.
Love it.
That is gonna be insanity. Anything Daniel Pineda is in is always insanity. I think Sam Patterson's gonna get a highlight knockout over Kiefer Crosby. I'm predicting that. And Molly McCann strawweight is very
Yep.
interesting, and
Agreed.
I think it's a very winnable fight. And yeah, so those are ones I'm kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, I pretty much took all of mine. Not gonna lie, like they're pretty blatant on this card
Yeah.
for sure. Mokaev and Cape, yeah,
You're
that's the big
you're
one here.
saying you're not looking forward to Mick Parkin versus Lucas Bresky?
Nope, I can't say I am. Sorry, not so much.
What about Shannon Bannon versus Alderdine?
Yeah. Shauna Bannon, she's all right, but got overhyped big time coming into the UFC. Probably too soon for her, honestly. And now what? She's got a part-time influencer and coming in to fight her in Elise here.
I think Sean Bader was the one who tweeted this out, but I pretty sure Alderdine's the worst fighter on the roster by far,
I mean, yeah, she's got some
probably
tough losses.
the worst signing that the UFC's done in a minute. So
Desperation move, short notice. We'll chalk it up to.
yeah,
Hey, you didn't hear it here. Oh goodness. But all right, you guys, before we do move on here to the good old movie club, it is also Super RIZIN 3 fight week, you guys. So got to give some love there. As there's plenty to like on this card. It is packed with things going on, and shout outs to Focus Fights here with the question here, mentioning with Chavello voice, Michael Chavello has been added to the English language commentary team, Alex, which is fucking super cool to see. He'll be there in person alongside Damian Brown. They haven't done that in a while. Ryan Garcia is also going to be there. Connor watching from the crowd. I don't know what that means. Is he going to be there too? I'm unaware of that. The co-main event that will bring interest to Super RIZIN 3 holds its own niche as a marquee event of the weekend. Yeah, I mean, this is a big show for them. The Ryan Garcia thing is very interesting, and I've heard some rumors and rumblings. I'll try and find out more as this week goes on, of course. But I mean, I guess there shouldn't be any reason he couldn't do stuff with over in Japan during his suspension and all of that, Alex. So I guess we'll fucking see how that plays out. But a lot of interesting things about this card from top to bottom. Of course, one of the highlights here for the casual viewers, Manny Pacquiao competing again, making his RIZIN debut after what, year and a half of teasing this. Was supposed to be against Chihiro Suzuki, the featherweight champ, but he got injured, broke his hand in that Takanori Gomi boxing match last month. Of course, surprise, surprise. 2 fights in a short span will do that. So Rakuya Ampo comes in, and he's going to get absolutely murdered. But that's part of the fun, right? So you can look forward to that one. Koji versus Ashizawa 2 is taking place in MMA. The kickboxers having their rematch in MMA. That should be all sorts of fun because they fucking hate each other. Ashizawa, one of the most unhinged people I've had on Broad Horizon. Go watch that episode if you want to see him. If you want to hear how he feels about Koji, go watch that one. That will be a good fun time. Suguru Knee's back against Kazumasa Majima, kicking off the card. Holy shit, that's going to be a fun one. Knee is on a roll right now. Just highlight after highlight victories, the stretch he's on. That guy is going to be fighting for a title if he keeps that up sooner rather than later. Of course, the main event, Mikuru Asakura versus Ren Hiramoto. That should be fun for as long as it lasts as well. Ren still getting used to kind of the MMA format of just fighting. 6 fights in now. This will be a 7th. His takedown defense and grappling is improving slowly but surely. Mikuru will have the edge there if he wants to win and just get it down. He should be able to. But on the feet, that's where it gets real exciting. Ren Hiramoto, obviously a phenomenal striker, kickboxer, all that. He's been putting people away as he does. So we look forward to that. Of course, Hiromasa and Makoto Shinryu, also a great one at flyweight. There's a lot to like on this one. John Dodson's back in bare knuckle in Japan, Alex. Bare knuckle in Japan for John Dodson. And then Ty Emery and Carissa Sagala are also debuting in Rizin, competing in bare knuckle again as they are working with the BKFC collaboration. Hideo Takoro is going to retire if he loses. Oh my goodness, the veteran. And Reina Kubota seems to possibly finally have her Sekizawa title shot if she gets the win here, as Sayaka called for her to win, as she hopes to fight her after this one. So we'll see. There's a lot. Super RIZIN 3 is going to be a good one. Not so sure if we'll do a fight companion for that one on the channel because it's kind of going to overlap with UFC 304 press conference stuff, but maybe I'll get the second half of it. We'll see what things are looking like, you guys, but don't worry. This would be a very fun one to do that for. So, Alex, which fight are you looking forward to most on Super RIZIN 3? I got to throw it at you.
The main event for sure. I think it's just gonna be madness. I mean, there's actually I'm looking really forward to this card. I'm not good at pronouncing Japanese guys' names, so I'm just not gonna like fucking do it. But I am looking forward to it. I will probably be staying up to watch it. And I mean, Manny Pacquiao, so I mean, it's interesting. I wonder if the Ryan Garcia, they're gonna set up a Ryan Garcia, Manny
Pacquiao versus Garcia. Could you imagine?
Yeah, fucking stupid. Or if Ryan Garcia just wants to fight an MMA guy. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what he does over there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that man.
Yeah, I know he's gonna stay on his P's and Q's over there. My goodness. Yeah, that's the thing. The thing with RIZIN and Sakakibara is he always likes to maximize these opportunities where a special guest is in house, right? Like they already promoted, had Ryan Garcia do a little video yesterday or whatever. He's probably going to get in the ring during intermission. Something's going to happen. So I don't have any insight on that. I'm just speculating right there. I would tease it more if I knew for sure, but yeah. Bogus fights.
I imagine like they like kept him under wraps and he's like actually fighting. Like it's gonna be like a secret fight.
Oh man. I mean, hey, they've done surprise fighters before. That would have been incredible.
Yeah, that'd be incredible.
Oh jeez. Manny the RIZIN thing has been teased for 5 years, but who's counted, right? Yeah, exactly. So we finally have made it there. Let's see. All right, we'll close out Mainline before the movie club with this question from Jersey Lee, and then we'll get the rest of yours at the end of the show, of course, you guys. Jersey asking, can Leon Edwards become a big star if he beats Shavkat? So if you read the morning report today, Alex and everyone else, Leon Edwards recently said that there's no big money fights for him in the division right now. And kind of agree with that. Honestly, if you look at kind of star power and all that, himself included, right? I don't know. I don't know if there is one currently in the division. Of course, people can come up and down and whatever, maybe to make that happen. But for Leon to be a big star, I think he's got to go out there, finish Bilal, just kind of start finishing people in crazy fashion would help, but rack up the title defenses. it's not going to happen too soon.
I don't think his personality leads him to be a superstar. Like
Also, that
I think that's just what
he's big in
yeah.
England,
Yeah,
big-ish.
cool. Yeah, you can be a big star in England. Cool. Like like a global superstar. I just don't. I
No.
mean, even as like an MMA star, I just don't. I just don't see it for him, unfortunately, just because his personality and his fight style. Like, I think he'll be a hardcore as love. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he's just not gonna break through. So,
Yeah.
and he can beat Shavkat. He can beat Hamzat. He can beat fucking go up and fight Drickus and beat him. It doesn't lead to
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but it happens sometimes.
Like if you can't become a bigger star by embarrassing Colby Covington,
Yeah, well, yeah, what more do you need?
like it's a layup there. Like you should have like gone up there and just embarrassed that guy, but he's just too respectful, bro. He's a good
Yeah.
mate.
He's a good lad. So, all right. We will wrap it up.
I keep looking at this fucking thing. Like it looks like I have like
Your
no
chin's just
hair right
open.
there. Yeah, it's weird. It's like I've been staring at the entire fucking
You're
show.
like, what the hell? Get the
Like what?
comb out.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on? I don't. It's like it's not great, but there's like not any hair. It's just, I don't know if it's the lighting or whatever. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Let's give Alex the full screen. Oh, there we go.
See?
Show it
Oh
off.
yeah.
Show it off.
See,
What's happening?
see. Look at it. It's not bad. That was. Yeah. I guess it's just the lighting or something. I don't know.
It's just a line. Yeah, something we got to fix that.
Yeah, for real,
All right,
bro.
now
Like,
the
what
format's all mixed up.
yeah,
There we go.
so anyway.
Yes, there we have it. Yep. So let's head on over to the movie club now. As Rio says, movie club. I forgot we were supposed to watch this week. Yeah, because we had our break last week and kind of screwed it up. But we are going to be no spoilers, which is going to be incredibly hard as we talk about Long Legs, you guys, which of course was Oz Perkins' latest. I don't want to say masterpiece, but very, very good, very enjoyable film, thriller. I mean, we talked about it on the phone, Alex. I mean, how would you specifically classify it? It's more thriller than horror.
It's a thriller for sure. It's
Just
not a
straight
horror.
up thriller,
It's
yeah.
not. It's not. I mean, like you could like get away with putting it like horror thriller like on like a streaming service, right? Like you could get there, but it's a thriller for sure. It's
Yeah,
not really scary. It's more
and
unnerving.
right, yeah. I mean, and I didn't really go into it expecting like super nasty, typical horror type of movie. Anyway, I think it did a pretty good job with setting up the expectations in that regard. But people really took it, took and ran with the direction of it being horror. But nonetheless, still a very great film. Alex and I talked about it on the phone already. It's a decently tough one to talk about without spoilers, but incredibly effective with what it was going for. Some fantastic cinematography. The way that this was shot in a lot of ways. The opening scene, of course, is a massive standout for a lot of people, myself included. It was a great intro and just feels very uncomfortable. And like the thing about it is, it always feels like you're right on the edge of fucking some bad energy from this movie all the time. So it was masterful in that regard. Like Oz Perkins, big shout out to him. Just killed it with the whole vibe of this movie. Yeah, it was it was a good watch in that sense. But throw out some comments for me here, Alex.
Yeah, the thing about I had high expectations going into this film because of the reviews, but I have to keep reminding myself that like horror critics will watch anything and say it's the best thing that's ever come out. Like they're
Mhm.
very gullible. They're very I don't know if they want their name like on the trailer, like oh best horror movie since
Yeah.
Psycho, like
Right.
so it's like I really have to like heed myself and like really go digging for people's thoughts on this movie. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I didn't love it. I wanted to love it more than we've had like basically 2 weeks to kind of like sit on it and chew on it.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, there's parts of it I really enjoyed. Then like towards the end, it kind of like turns, like just kind of like
Yeah.
turns. It turns. There is one thing I don't want to consider this a spoiler, but like the main character has like a very she's like very autistic in a sense. Like we just her like and that like really was just very annoying. Like to like just the entire movie was very just like the way she spoke. It was just like yeah, it just
Yeah, I mean, I think Micah Monroe did, she had a good performance, but in terms of the character, maybe it was getting too into that in the sense where
yeah,
it feels like there's gonna be a turning point for her character and how she is, and it never comes.
yeah,
And I don't even know if that's a bad thing, right? Like, but it's noticeable. You know what I mean? Like as you said, I can understand how that would annoy a viewer, and
yeah.
just
And
her
this
interactions were she was always uncomfortable with like everything.
yeah, she's no Jodie Foster, and people need to stop comparing this to Silence of the Lambs because it's not Silence of the Lambs. There's only going to be one Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's uncomparable. I mean, is the reveal of Longlegs a spoiler or is
I think so. I think that's a pretty big one. That's like the biggest spoiler.
well the person who plays Longlegs is fantastic.
Yes, no. The highlight, at least, well, like I said, what was it, Detective Carter? I think he was a great, fantastic character, of course. But yeah, I mean, Longlegs as a character was incredibly fascinating.
Yeah, for sure. I will give a lot of credit to the cinematography. It's a very well shot movie. Like I think that's what like really keeps you in tune with the movie. If
Hmm.
it gets if it gets like kind of like in a dry spell, the shots, the cinematography, the score, the everything and how to make the movie is fantastic. It's very good.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I don't know. Now that I've sat on this movie for 2 weeks, I think it's like a solid like 7.5 out of 10 maybe
Hmm.
7 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I fully agree with you, and I do feel like that a second rewatch, I'm gonna like it even more. I will say, just because of picking up on some things, but we
Yeah,
we both have our kind of big issue with towards the second half, parts of things in the second half, which we talked about, and some of you guys might know what we're referring to if you did go and watch it, but um, just like I think a lot of little things I'll appreciate and maybe catch up on more. There were some that I did notice as I was watching it, but like for example, this was one when you were mentioning the cinematography. Chris Stuckman, shout out to him. He said this in his review video, but like when she's opening the letter that she gets in one of the scenes, it's in like her little office space in her house, and the angle of the shot is filmed where she's kind of in the side of it, and then you just see the back of the kitchen through the doorway, and you're just like, I don't trust that fucking doorway, man. The whole time, like, it's so good. They were so good at doing shots like that where you're
yeah,
like, you just like tense up thinking because it's perfectly silent. All these things, like
yeah. No,
that
for
stuff,
sure.
you just appreciate a lot as a film snob in this one.
Oh, 1000%. Now it was. Yeah, it's a film snobby movie for sure.
Hmm. Yeah, but I would recommend seeing it though, especially if you are a thriller fan. If you're not and kind of need a lot of action and entertainment, you might not enjoy this one so much. But I think it is worth a see still. Like we said, 7.5, and I mean for some of those performances alone too, it's gonna you're gonna get some joy out of it. So Long Legs was yeah, it still met my expectations for the most part. I did enjoy it. It was a good time. And I think I just love movies like this one in general, whether it's the plot or how it was filmed. Like I want more of these types of movies for sure. So
Yeah.
good
So I
time.
watched Twisters last night. It's okay, not great. If you like disaster movies, go right ahead. I watched Beekeeper
Okay.
on the plane.
How was that?
Fucking fantastic. Very good. Very good. It's literally Jason
In a
Statham.
bad way?
No, like actually, like
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. Like it's literally Jason Statham killing people for an hour and
All
45 minutes,
right. Okay.
like brutally killing people. So fantastic.
Okay. Right on.
I would recommend it for sure.
What is your favorite Jason Statham movie?
Ooh, man.
A transporter guy? Yeah.
I would have to say, what's yours?
So this is kind of like a not fair pick, but I think because of the role he's playing in this movie, it's why I'm saying it's my favorite Jason Statham movie because of the character he is. But I'm gonna say Spy. Did you see that one?
Yes, I did actually.
Because it's like very clearly him making fun of himself with that whole movie, which I thoroughly enjoyed.
If I want to be a fucking Phillips snob, I'm gonna say Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Okay.
I think that, but like I do like him in like Crank, like that's a very guilty pleasure. But honestly, dude, this new beekeeper, like it's shot up there.
Wow.
Like, yeah,
Okay.
it's just like straight violence. Yeah, right up my alley.
All right. Okay. Well, now I'm intrigued by
Yeah,
it.
it's legit.
Go says the one with Jessica Alba. I don't remember that one.
Jessica
With
Alba,
Jason and Jessica Alba. I'll have to check the filmography there on that one, Ghost. But for this week, though, you guys, it's
Mechanic
Deadpool week, isn't it,
Resurrection,
Alex?
Mechanic Resurrection.
Oh,
Yes,
right. Yeah. The mechanic movies. Yeah, those.
yeah,
I enjoyed those. Yeah, those were solid.
yeah.
Those were good choices.
Deadpool week. Let's fucking go.
Yep, that'll be a fun one, easy one. I'm sure plenty of you guys will go and see that one too. Deadpool and Wolverine, Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds unite. We love to see that. Um, very much excited. So, yep, nice and easy for you right there, you guys. But
Have you watched like a lot of the other Marvel movies, or are you just like a Deadpool kind of like are you like a Marvel fiend?
I saw like the Wolverine ones, and then Logan. I mean, what's really only been Logan
Those are
since the
X Men
one
movies,
before
bro.
that.
I said Marvel movies.
Oh,
Come
right.
on,
Excuse me.
come
Sorry.
on,
I
bro.
forgot.
Come
They're
on.
Galacticos. um, not so much lately. I saw the first Avengers like when that came
Oh,
out, but
all right. So you're not gonna catch a lot of the Easter eggs throughout the movie.
yeah, probably not.
That's tough.
Well, was Deadpool in the like Avenger movies and anything?
No,
Okay, I didn't think
no.
so.
This is
Doesn't
Deadpool
quite
going
fit.
into the Marvel universe and shaking it up.
Okay. I mean, I know some. I've seen like the Spider-Man stuff and all that. We'll see. So I'm curious to see. Keep track of them for me, and then we'll come back to them.
Wait. So you never like saw Avengers Endgame
Uh-uh.
in the Infinity War?
Mm-mm.
Oh man, it's just missing out on
It's fucking bullshit, is what it is.
just missing out on iconic film, bro. That's
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
That's tough. Oh, that's brutal, bro. That's brutal.
Well, you know me. So, all right, you guys, we'll close out now with some of your questions. We appreciate you so much. Starting off here with what is this? Hold on, let me see if this is proper. Doing the starring myself for this one again. Bum, bum, bum. As oh god, I don't want to see that ghost in the private chat. I don't know why you would say that. Let's see. Excuse me. All right, Rio. Oh, is this what we were talking about? What's worse, being a rage baiter who gets no engagement and talks awkwardly in the camera and having bad takes, or a rage baiter that gets engagement?
Being a rage baiter who gets no engagement.
Probably the one who's trying and failing at it. I would say
Yeah,
that's
probably.
that's a bit more embarrassing. Yeah. Um, Jin says, I don't know what segment this belongs to right here, but Vincente Luque and Nick Diaz is gone for the UFC Abu Dhabi card and replaced by a different card or moved to a different card. That makes me very happy. So that's just a
I
comment.
wrote this in the story I wrote up, but like, I think anybody with half a fucking brain realized that fight was never going to happen in Abu Dhabi.
Insane that they even did that.
Like, come on, like, bro. I, I'm not. I'm sure Nick
When is
Diaz.
the last when has he fought out of the US since Pride, or did he even go to Japan for Pride? I don't think he did.
He fought in Canada.
Okay, all right. That's probably it though.
But I don't know if he could. He probably thought Abu Dhabi was somewhere in America. To be honest with you, like
Or he didn't read where the fight even was.
Yeah. He's like, Abu Dhabi? Is that in Chicago?
Right, exactly. God. Um, Bog is here. Says thoughts on Danny Sabatello's return August 16th. I didn't see this. Who is he fighting, Alex?
He is fighting. I had
Gotta
it.
look it up.
No, I had it. Let's see. Keep talking. Sabatello.
Danny Sabatello is
He's
returning.
fighting Lorenzo Dayron.
Can't say I know that gentleman.
He is no, I don't. He comes from Combate
Ah,
and fight lights
my
out.
thoughts are a Sabatello victory incoming.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah,
PFL Tour matchmaking, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah,
Fucking what is that?
yeah, 1000%.
As Alex has gone out of focus all of a
I
sudden.
know. I just saw that. There you go.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Ramiro Jones. Oh, is this what we're talking about? I don't understand this culture in MMA media of other MMA media bringing people down. I have been a part of MMA media since 2018, and I have noticed a lot of gatekeeping. Do you see this gatekeeping? Well,
I mean, it's tough. I mean, I think if MMA media people are calling out other MMA media people for being fucking idiots.
it's for the betterment of media overall.
I mean, I will say this. There's a lot of jealousy in this industry for sure. But don't mistake jealousy for actual criticism and
Right.
actual helping, helping the community out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's there's a lot of shit people out there.
Yeah, no, and I mean he springboards off of that with I saw one of my friends who grinds and works his butt off to get interviews, get shit on for working hard and breaking fight news. We all want to do well in this space, but it's not very welcoming. Here's the thing, the problem with what you are saying right here is it is incredibly welcoming if you're doing things right. If you are so I don't exactly know the context here of what you're saying, but like what Alex said, if you are just essentially trying to seek clout or fucking not doing things professionally, you're gonna get caught. You can only fake that until you make it, quote unquote, for so long. But the media space is incredibly welcoming if you are doing things ethically the way that they should be. Like Alex, I'm going to speak from experience, and again, put me in the douchebag category for saying how I'm going to say this, but like never had a fucking issue with anybody when I got started in this business because I wasn't going around pretending to have scoops that I didn't have or outing my sources publicly from a fighter and getting them in trouble for it. I'm not calling anyone out. I'm just saying don't do that if it's crossed your mind. Plain and simple. Everybody in the media space who is established and been around and does things properly is going to be fine with people who also do it that way. The problem is where you come on in and ruin it for everybody else trying to start. And that's my problem with the things we've seen recently. And I ranted about this on my personal channel already. You can go watch it over there. But
Also, like, this is interesting because I come from a journalism background. You don't, right?
I don't.
But
Yeah.
but before you got into this. I'm pretty sure you probably Googled journalism and figured out what the fuck's good and what the fuck's not good to do.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
it's like, and it's
And
weird.
like you said about the advice, not to cut you off too, but if you are trying to do it that way and you ask somebody, do that. I recommend doing that. Ask somebody. I did that plenty with people that I was around getting started. And then take the fucking advice. Don't think you're better than them or like you know what you're doing. Why'd you fucking ask? Like that happens way more. I've seen that way more in my fucking almost 10 years in this industry than I care to admit, where people ask advice, whether it's from me, which has happened, or other friends I have, and then these guys go and do their bullshit all the same. It's like, all right, then I'm not going to help you. That makes us not want to help you guys. Not you guys, but whoever's in that position trying to get started and then fucking around doing their own thing. Listen, don't think you're hot shit right away for literally no reason. Because you aren't. Okay. You got to learn the hard way in this space.
Fucking drop the ego and ask for help, because people will fucking help you. Just drop the ego.
Yeah. Plain and simple. That's all you got to do. Literally all you got to do. I promise.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Ramiro, getting us all heated and worked up at the end of the show.
I know, right?
What? Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Play the music. UFC 304 fight week, you guys. Super RIZIN 3 fight week. My goodness, I am ready for it. Going to be a great Saturday night of action and early Sunday morning bleeding in there with the RIZINs. So stay tuned for all of that. We will have you covered here on MMA Mania. Working to get Broad Horizon episode 41 out this week before the event, so stay tuned for that, you guys. Working on some other stuff as well. Have an interview that is in the can, just waiting to be released for a certain thing. I won't tease or spoil anything on that yet, but that will be coming, and along with some other stuff coming up next week, which we'll talk about then. But Alex, any shameless plugs, tidbits coming up, anything else? Yada yada.
Yeah, tidbits back. I didn't do a tidbits for last week's card because no need. So
there you go.
So it's back. It'll be big. It's pay-per-view tidbits. Also, I need to bang out a prospect of the month because we're already at the end of the month. So maybe look out for that.
All right, a little tease, you guys. There you go. Don't forget to follow us at Drake Riggs _ and you can just say Drake Riggs Rio. I know that you've been addressing me as Drake Riggs _ in other chats, so I'm calling you out, pal. Drake Riggs _ on Twitter and Instagram, not in real life. And Alex B. Hunin on Twitter and Instagram as well, at MMAmania.com for all your MMA needs. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I think we're even on TikTok, even though we don't use it very much. YouTube, of course. Subscribe to the Daily Roundup newsletter so you can keep up to date with everything combat sports. And we will see you next Tuesday, same time for Sound and Pound episode 41. What a coincidence. I didn't just realize now Sound and Pound catching up to Broad Horizon. There you go. They're different timings, but look at that. So, all right, you guys, stay safe, stay sane. We will see you next week. Peace.